I'm Kati, I'm from MiMU, and I'm here to talk about the MiMU Gloves. And it's actually funny because, well, thank you, Stefan, for inviting me so spontaneously, because the first and only time I've ever been to Monopol was a couple of years ago when I produced a photo shoot for a singer called Imogen Heap. And now I'm back and to talk about her invention. She is the founder and brain behind the MiMU Gloves. I don't know, maybe some of you know her, but she's a British singer-songwriter and producer. She plays any instrument that you can imagine and is very, very tech-savvy. And she basically was always running around on stage, playing loads of instruments, using loads of gear. And we are in Berlin, you probably have been to some electronic live set or DJ set, so you know what it looks like. It's usually the artist hunching over a laptop or two or three and loads of knobs and buttons and gear. And so she kind of struggled a bit with that for her live performances because she just wanted to have a bit more freedom. And she always says, I just wanted to be on stage and close my eyes and move my hands and sing and perform freely. The second aspect why we developed these gloves was that music software is very versatile and has loads of opportunities, but sometimes the gear and the controllers don't really fulfill all of the possibilities that the software actually has to offer. So yeah, that's why Imogen decided to build a team around her and come up with variable gesture controllers. And they started developing the software in 2011. And in 2012, she actually performed for the first time with this. So as you can see, it's still quite chunky with loads of cables and batteries and PCBs all around her body. But it worked. And then they started developing loads of different iterations of the gloves over the years, where you can still see that sometimes the electronics are still exposed on the wrists and the cables are visible, so maybe not the most aesthetic thing to do on live performances. But then 2019, we actually went to market because after she performed a couple of times with her gloves, there was loads of other artists that were like, wow, I want to have this too. So the demand was there, and we started to produce for the public. And this is what they look like. And then, as we heard in the first presentation, COVID happened and had its effects on us as well, because we were affected by this global chip shortage. So we couldn't produce any more gloves. So we went into another R&D phase that lasted for a couple of years, and then made this glove, which we launched actually this year. And this is the current model. It's much more, it has much more flexibility on the wrist because the wrist unit is way smaller and lighter, and so, yeah, and compared to the first model that Imogen used, is much better and more aesthetic. This was the first iteration of the music software. I don't know how many people here use music software, but yeah, there's a lot to see here. Oops, sorry. And this is what it looks now. So way easier to use for people, and yeah, I'll explain this a bit in a bit. How do they work? So the gloves have flex sensors in the fingers, one in the pinky, one in the thumb, and two in the longer fingers to measure the bend of the fingers. They have an IMU that sits on the wrist unit to measure the orientation. So you basically, when you start using the gloves, you tell them where forwards is, and then the gloves can measure left and right, up and down, and the roll of the wrist as well. They communicate over Wi-Fi because, as you can imagine, if you perform in a huge venue with loads of people and loads of phones, Bluetooth might distort the signals. So they have their own Wi-Fi, which ensures that the MIDI signals get transferred correctly. Then they have a button on each index finger with an LED light, which can be used for non-gestural controls. So if they perform on stage, they can, for example, press the button to start recording their voice. And then usually the button shows red. And then once they stop recording, the LED shows a different color, for example, so the artist knows what's going on and which scene they are. They have breathable design, because you never know how long someone performs on stage, maybe several hours. We also have loads of dancers who use the gloves, so they're not sweating too much with the gloves. And they are fingerless, because a lot of people also use them to expand their instruments. And so you can play your instruments freely, and you can also use any touch pads or screens. And lastly, there's a vibration motor on the back of the hand for haptic feedback. So, for example, this is obviously not for the audience, but for the performer themselves. And we did one thing with Imogen during a live stream where we set up a landing page, and the landing page had a button on the page. And so the fans could go to this page during a live stream and click on the button, and she would get a vibration on her glove, which was kind of a cute interaction with the fans. So the gloves, as I've mentioned, are used in so many different ways, and it's quite nice to create kind of like a toy and give it to creative people, because then they just come up with loads of different things and things that you would never think of when you make these. And obviously, in this context, they are also able to control visuals and control lighting in a venue. So I've just put together a few clips of artists and how they use them, so you can see it. Ariana Grande used them on her tour as well once. So I'm just going to show you quickly how it looks and how it works. So this is the software called Glover, and I've connected my gloves over Wi-Fi, as you can see here. And then in this bottom bit here, you can see the sensors in each finger. So when I bend my fingers, you can see them reacting to it. And then next to it is this orientation panel that I talked about before. So if I put them forward, usually you just set forward here. And then you see it's like left, right, up, down, which we call pitch. And this we call yaw. And then the roll of the wrists. Here are the drum hits. And then you can train any posture that you like. We usually just tell artists to just train any postures that come very intuitive to them, because obviously it's a performance and it needs to feel natural. So I've just trained fists, open hand, and one finger point here just for this demo, but you can choose and name any posture that you like if someone wants to do this posture, whatever. So yeah. And then you connect this to any music software that you use, so Ableton or Logic or whichever. And for visuals, you can connect it to TouchDesigner, V4, whatever you want to use, because the gloves also send OSC, not just MIDI. So yeah, one example. Here you can see there's this chords that I can play, and here you see the input. It's the right glove. If you make a fist and go up and down onto the sides. So, ooh, obviously that had to happen. Oh yeah, I need to connect this, no? No. What's with the sound? One? Ah, here. Us. No, it's the USB, right? Okay. Ah, there we go. So yeah, if I make a fist and go to the side, it plays all the chords that I programmed it to play, basically. And then here you can see with my left hand, there's roll, which adds a filter. And then there's also this. Maybe another example. Obviously, I'm not a singer, so I'm not going to sing, but if you were to sing, you can sing, and then you can control your vocals. So here again, if I make a fist with my left hand, that you see in the top, I can add harmonies. If I roll my left hand, it adds a delay. If I go up, so pitches up and down with my left hand, I can add a reverb, so. And then combine everything. So yeah. I brought loads of other examples, so if you want to come and try them yourself, then I'm going to be over there, and you can try them yourself. And yeah, thank you so much.